Hello and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. Today we are going to continue the betta breeding series where we follow two different betta spawns and see all the different adventures that they go through as they grow up and mature, but also hopefully learn things along the way. If you're new to this channel, be sure to check out the whole playlist so you can see the whole adventure, but this is the most current footage, and let's take a closer look and do a little recap on what tanks different spawns are in. So tank 1 and 2 is the Tancho spawn. They are currently 9 months old and they are separated by size. And then tank A and B is the Startail spawn, which is 8 months old, and they are also separated by size. All of these fish are marble placats, so they are the short fin varieties with the marble gene. The reason that I'm pointing this out is because I'm going to show close-ups of tanks going forward, and each of these will have a letter or a number. So this particular clip is number 1, so you will get to know which tank I am referencing. I hope that that will make it easier to follow along and be able to distinguish all the different bettas apart from each other. Right away, I would like to draw your attention to the two males that are in the middle. So the orange as well as the red fish are both males, they're brothers, and they have both grown up together. Now they are posturing and doing a lot of dominance displays. And what's really interesting is if you take a close look at their fins, you'll see that there is very minimum, if no nipping. So these males have really not been nipping each other. All they do is just physically kind of get puffy, do their little dance, show off to each other, but they're not actually fighting. And I think that's a really interesting thing that can sometimes happen when you grow a spawn together. Although that does not mean that these males will get along forever. Eventually, I feel like they will fight and they can hurt and kill each other. And also, this is stressful, and short term, I feel like some sparring like this is okay, but long term is not something that these fish benefit from. And that is why, even though we can grow up these spawns together, and another male joined in, so now it's 3 males all having a flare party at each other. Something very rare we don't get to see, because we usually don't get to see male bettas together. So I'm really glad, before I jar these fish, that I get to show you this behavior. But I was getting a little distracted, so let me get back on track. So eventually you do want to separate these fish. Now, when I was filming this footage, there was also a thunderstorm, and everyone got in like an extra excited spawning mood. So I thought it was a great opportunity to film it, but then jar them afterwards. So after I took this footage the next day, a lot of these sassy males have become jarred, and I will decide which ones I will hold back for continued breeding purposes, and then I will sell the rest to all of you from my lovely audience. So while I pointed out 3 males that should be jarred, there could potentially be other fish that should be jarred as well. And since we're all learning together, some of us are more experienced betta breeders, some of us are not, some of you might not even breed bettas at all, but would still like to better understand them, we can play a little game that will help kind of hone our skills in observing our fish, as well as taking note of their particular behaviors. So for the next clips, and you can include this clip as well, so you can definitely go back and rewatch this, I would like for you to take a couple notes, maybe jot down timestamps and describe which fish you are focusing on, and then you can observe the behaviors of the fish in the tanks. So here I kind of went a little back so you can see the fish a bit better, and this clip will be about a minute, and then we'll switch to a couple other clips. This will let you practice your observation skills and let you practice not only noticing certain behaviors, but identifying fish that are more aggressive or less aggressive. So this is a cool way to practice. And if you're not a breeder, this is still kind of cool to see, because you get to observe bettas in an environment that is very uncommon for them. You never really get to see them in group environments where you have multiple males living together, you have females living together. This is kind of rare. So I think this is really cool, and I'm glad that I'm able to share this with you. So once you watch all the footage and take as many notes as you want, they could be detailed or they don't have to be detailed, it's whatever you want. I would really appreciate it if you would like and feel comfortable doing so to share those in the comments. This way we can actually compare our different observations and we can all learn things together, and I think it'll be kind of like a cool collective experiment of sorts. And some fish will be a lot easier to kind of guess and determine like, oh, you should probably remove this fish or that fish. Like this fish is a really big aggressor, this one isn't. And some fish are a little more difficult. So you have to take, you know, your time, take a close look, observe, rewatch these clips as many times as you feel like you want to. And if you find my talking to be a little too distracting, if you want to focus on the fish specifically, you can definitely turn down the volume. I will not be offended. That's totally okay. Sometimes rambles can be distracting. So now is the portion of the video where, you know, I'll let you look at the fish, but I might ramble a little bit more because it's kind of fun, and share some of the observations that I've made from watching this spawn. So I mentioned earlier that there was like a phase that they were a little nippy before, and I have videos in my playlist that reference that, so you'll be able to see. And especially the other spawn, so not the one that's in the shot right now, and not this one either, but I'll point it out when it shows up. So the startail spawn was much nippier, and even though the nipping and the fin damage really decreased, the B tank is some of them. So those are the smaller runty ones of the startails. But even though the nipping decreased, there is still some nipping that kind of never really truly stopped. But on the other hand, for my tancho marbles, the aggression has been really reduced. Like if you look at their fins, you'll see like a couple, like there's one in the middle of the screen right now, and tank 2 that's got a little bit of nipping that and fin damage. But for the most part, like especially the males, you'll see how sassy all the males are, but their fins look nice. So I think it's kind of interesting how they went through an aggressive phase and then it sort of became less, and then now that there was a thunderstorm, everyone got like super excited. And then I decided that since they got really super excited and, you know, they're thinking about breeding, you know, now's a good time to just separate them and not really prolong any of this. But the last clip here is just them eating some snacks. This is just the last little clip. They're eating their little happy fish. This is their payment for participating in my video, for being good little fishies and providing us with really cool behaviors, as well as cuteness, which never ceases to end because they're super cute. I also keep wanting, I guess I won't really edit. Sometimes I stumble on my words. That's okay. We'll just leave it because it's at the end. Don't tell anyone. Shh. But I still want to call them my betta babies, even though these would definitely be sub-adults at this point. In my mind, they're going to be forever my little betta babies. So next week, at some point, maybe next week, hopefully, I think. I haven't really planned out when the video is going to come out, but I will show you who I jarred so we can get a closer look and maybe take a look at form a bit more closely, so we can have the boys kind of show off and we can look at their finnage and stuff. And then after that, I've got some reviews and some other fun videos planned for you that I hope that you will enjoy. So thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video.